Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to Windi Podcast. I'm Windi as a host for this podcast. As you can see now, I'm with 3 guest stars. So from the first guest, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Dini. Nice to meet you all. Hi, I'm Untitled Chapter.
Hi, I'm Indonesian.
Okay, nice to meet you all. Dini, Cindy, and Amy. Okay. Well, we go to the discussion now about tourism in Palembang. I think you know well Palembang city, right?
Yes.
Before we go to the main question, I want to ask you first. What's your opinion about tourism in our city, Palembang?
Okay, my opinion in tourism in Indonesia, especially in Palembang, is very good because Palembang has won host the Asian Games. Palembang has many tourist attractions and tempat culinary. I think that's. And next, see.
As far as I'm concerned, tourism in Indonesia was very nice. Indonesia never runs out of tourism attraction. There are so many tourist attraction in Indonesia, especially in Palembang. I think even Palembang doesn't have a natural tourist attraction like mountain or sea or beach, but Palembang has its own characteristic. Palembang also has many tourist attractions that are nice to visit.
How about you, Amy?
I think, as we know, since the COVID-19 outbreak, the tourism sector in Indonesia has experienced decline due to the implementation of social distancing. However, after the COVID-19 transmission, the tourism sector in Indonesia began to increase again. And also in Palembang, various tourist attractions have started to reopen and already crowded with tourists. Some tourist attractions in Palembang have visited by visitors is Kamang Iwa, Jakabaring Sport City, Puntikayu, Mempera, and several other popular tourism in Palembang. I think this is a pretty good development because tourists in Palembang has been able to success in increasing its tourism. This is a good job because although the tourist attraction in Palembang are not so many and varied, but the level of visit from local tourists in Palembang is able to make tourism in Palembang survive.
Well, we have some opinion from our guest. So we go to the main question. Talking about community literacy in terms of tourism, literacy is something that is really needed to improve understanding of the role of tourism in general as people see. You can say something about how important community literacy in terms of tourism?
Okay. In my opinion, gaining new insight and information will improve one's interpersonal skill and improve one's analysis and thinking skill, help improve one's focus and concentration skill, and improve one's ability to compass meaningful word and write.
And about listening?
Alright, we know that literacy is ability to read and write or ability and knowledge in particular field. So literacy of tourism is the ability of individuals in the field of tourism. And I think this is important. We need to know what the type of tourism is, and so that we can know about culture and know many tourist attractions in Indonesia, especially for students hospitality industry like us. I think.
And you, Annie?
As we know, literacy is a social event that improves certain skill to convey information or to obtain information in written form. The essence of literacy is not only about the ability to read and write, but also the ability to think critical and understanding various facts. In literacy, various levels become very important, starting from the basic level until someone is able to transform their knowledge in the form of language.
So you think community literacy for tourism very important and impactful, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay, we go to the next question. I think in implementing something like regulation, innovation, etc., there are always problems or challenges that must be faced. Uh, what are the problems that must be faced in improving community literacy based on your mind? Start from Dini.
Okay, I think for problem, the low level of human productivity is the reason it is difficult to progress. And it is easy for education to stop or the high dropout rate for the children. And with attitude that fail to select every information and communication behavior that is emotional and for the sensitive.
And how about you, Cindy?
As far as I'm concerned, that Indonesia is one of the countries that have a low level of literacy. This is fair because in fact our society is not in literacy. So the main problem is that lack of literacy. Maybe we need to give about information to the public about the importance of literacy.
And then Amy?
I think the lack of the approach to the community regarding the importance of tourist literacy is the one of the factor that makes people's literacy lag behind. People don't understand and how the tourism sector, for example, in choosing the halal tourism sector, people do not understand what needs to be considered in choosing halal tourism due to the lack of information conveyed to them. So, it is very important for the government or people in charge of tourism to provide the large information assistance.
Okay, what's your suggestion or you can share some tips how to improving community literacy for tourism? Dini?
The government or the community must give more space to the community reading club. More reading clubs need to be open. There must be care for reading activity and literary movements in the reading garden. Reading gardens are the spare tent for accompanying for reading tradition and literary culture among children and the community, especially in the midst of the onslaught of the digital age.
And how about you, Cindy?
In my opinion, the interest of reading the Indonesian people is still there. Then we need a new way to introduce tourism. It might start by creating a story in novels or comics about tourism in Indonesia. And because because I think that Indonesian people are more interested in reading stories such as novels and comics.
And how about you, Amy?
As I said earlier, several things that can be done to improve public literacy is by providing information about the tourism sector to the community. Social media can be the most influential things in providing information to the public because almost all people must have a social media. This is what can help spread appeals or information to the public very easily. After all, the reach of social media is very wide with the existence of mass information such like this. I believe that public literacy in terms of tourism will increase because people will prefer information submitted online and interesting.
Uh, we know everything must have solution, including the topic we just talked about, the community literacy in tourism. Our guests have given the best solution they could share today for this station. Okay. Okay, next question. What do you think tourism potential in Indonesia?
I think Indonesian tourism potential is characteristic of Indonesia, namely an archipelagic country that has enormous tourism potential such as natural wealth, cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, diversity of food, diversity of handicrafts, and so on.
And why is tourism considered important for the Indonesian people? You can say something, Cindy?
The tourism sector has an important role as a source of foreign exchange earnings and can encourage national economic growth, especially in reducing the number of unemployed and increasing the productivity of a country.
And Dini, what are the benefits of tourist attraction for the Indonesian economy?
The benefit of tourism for our country economy are stabilizing the local economy and diversifying jobs. Through tourism, the state of the community economy will improve and it will sharply stabilize the local economic condition. Development of tourist area both in the city and the region.
Okay. Based on your opinion, what is the positive impact of tourism activities on Indonesia, Amy?
The positive impact of tourism development included the first is expand employment opportunities, increasing business opportunities, increase revenue, maintenance of local culture, and also getting to know the local culture by tourists.
Can you say, Cindy, what are the four strategic steps of tourism as the main element of the national economy?
Tourism development in Indonesia includes four pillars of tourism development, namely destinations, marketing, industry, and institutional.
Okay. What efforts can be made to support business in the tourism sector?
Way to support business in the tourism sector are as follow. maintain the cleanness of the environment around tourist destinations in order to maintain cleanliness and beauty. Live in harmony together and friendly to welcome tourists, promoting tourist destination to various places.
Uh, what is the relationship between tourism and information technology today? You can say something, Amy?
I think the role of information and communication technology in the tourism sector is quite large and important because the existence of information and communication technology make it easier for tourists to find out more easily about tourist attraction that exist even in remote areas.
Uh, okay, why is tourism said to be able to support the development of a country, Cindy?
In the implementation of national development, the tourism industry plays a very strategic role because tourism brings in large amounts of foreign exchange for the country. So it can replace the oil and gas sector, which has experienced a drastic decline.
Uh, why is tourism one of the most important economic activities in coastal areas?
I think important because tourism is considered to be able to develop the economy of the community around tourism. And also tourism is very important asset for an area to improve the economy in the area.
Okay, thank you. Why can the tourism sector affect people's welfare, Amy?
The tourism sector as an economic activity has a very long chain, accommodating many job opportunities for the surrounding community so that it can increase income and community welfare from the sale of goods and services.
You can say what's the first step in exploring and developing regional potential is, Cindy.
Step in exploring and developing the potential of the areas. For first is inventory or identification of all potentials. Then determine the advantages possessed by each of those potentials and see the relationship between the potential of an area with the potential of other areas or surroundings.
Uh, what should be managed in a tourist destination?
Based on the description above, it can be called the tourist destination or interaction between various elements. There are components that must be managed properly by a tourist destination, namely tourist, region, and information about the area.
Why the tourist destination need to be managed? You can say something.
I think the number of tourist attraction in Indonesia is an important potential to be managed and handled properly so that this potential can contribute to the development of the country, but in the terms of economy, social, community, and also environmental conservation.
Why can tourism and culture be separated? You can tell the reason.
Culture will never be separated from tourism because culture has something to do with tourism, namely, without culture, tourism activities will not be interesting anymore. It will taste bland because it is culture that attracts the attention of the tourists.
What do you think? Why is it important to understand social culture in the tourism sector?
I think one of the important aspects in tourism development is the social culture aspect because tourism can grow and develop well if there is the support by culture tourism, which is seen from the social culture aspect.
Uh, what's the impact of tourism from a socio-cultural perspective?
In the social culture field, here are the positive impact of tourism. First, can introduce local culture for tourism, preserving local culture or indigenous culture, increase promotion of regional culture and historical sites in an area.
Uh, do you think? What is the purpose of cultural tourism? Cindy?
By doing cultural tourism, tourists can get many benefits, namely as follows. First, preserving culture, uh, increasing cultural insight, studying history, elevating the nation's image, accumulating a sense of love for the homeland, and strengthening self-esteem, then strengthening friendships between nations and preserving nature.
What are the negative impacts of tourism in social and cultural fields, Dini?
These negative social impact include social change value, increased crimes and gambling, change in moral behavior, change in family structure and rules. Problem with tourist host relation and of destruction of heritage.
Okay. What is the impact of tourism on the culture and economy of the community?
In general, tourism has a positive impact on the economy, namely increasing people's income in tourist destination, creating jobs, improving infrastructure and public facilities in tourist destination.
Uh, what is the impact of tourism on the environment?
Impact of tourism on the environment. According to the United Nations Environment Program or UNEP, there are three main impacts of tourism activities on the environment, namely the depletion of natural resources, pollution, and the physical impact of tourism.
Why can tourism business provide income for local governments? Can say something?
In addition to the community, tourism activity also have a positive impact on the government in the economic aspect because the more number of tourists visiting tourist area, it will increase GRDP income for the region. So not only the people who benefit but the government as well.
You can tell the reason why does tourism development require the role of the government to promote tourism? Any?
In developing or creating tourist attraction, the government has an important role because the tourism sector cannot develop optimal if there is no intervention from the government, especially in providing roads as access facilities, finding tourists, and promoting this tourist attraction.
What is the role of government and entrepreneurs for tourism development? What do you think?
The government's role in developing and managing tourism in general is providing infrastructure. Not only in physical form, then expanding various forms of facilities, coordinating activities between government officials and the private sector, general regulation and promotion to other regions and abroad.
Okay. Why do tourist destinations need to be developed?
According to him, the development of the tourism sector is very important because it can create jobs, increase income, and can encourage local government to build and maintain infrastructure so that the quality of life of local people also increase.
Okay, we go to the last question. Recently, I heard there was a hot news that this year, 2022, Indonesia won the second place in halal tourism in the Global Travel Muslim Index. What do you think about the potential halal tourism in Indonesia, especially in Palembang? From Dini?
In my opinion, Palembang city tourism is named Madani. Halal tourism means that they can provide comfort for Muslim tourists to be able to worship at tourist attraction or culinary center that have been certification. In my opinion, the advance of halal tourism is that the food in the hotel or culinary center is hygiene, because the halal compact also demands cleanliness.
And how about you, Cindy?
Halal tourism is very potential in Indonesia, which is the majority of Islam. And halal tourism also needs to be increased again in various cities because this is an achievement for Indonesia. In Palembang also has halal tourism. Even Palembang has the Al-Quran Al-Akbar, which is the largest Quran in the world.
And then how about you, Amy?
I think the development of tourism with the halal concept also occurred in Indonesia, so that Indonesia began to use a halal tourism concept. In some of its tourism products, halal tourism itself is not a special tour for Muslim, but a concept that is general or open to all tourists with the different beliefs, religion, ethnic, and culture. In this concept, what is the priorities is how tourism enable to put forward Islamic values and norms as its basic foundation. In halal tourism, it appears about the role of religion in the concept of tourists. Islamic values or Islamic law become a basis for how this tourist concept can be fulfilled with ultimate goal. The concept is able to influence tourist satisfaction under the role of religion. The development of halal tourism has the aim of attracting tourists regardless of religion, both Muslim and non-Muslim. So it's developed is very important considering the various benefits that will be received. However, the thing that needs to be understood is that even though this concept is open to all people, the comfort of Muslim worship becomes an important emphasis in every tourism product with applicable standards, I think.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. There are a lot of detailed new useful information that we just know. They have excellent opinion that I think I feel same too with them. Okay, before we end this discussion, we can conclude that tourism industry is a comprehensive industry involving many industries such as hospitality, transportation, tourist destination, travel companies, and more. As a young generation, we have improved the tourism potential in the region we live, and the task is not only the government but the whole community must play a role so that our city tourism is more widely known both inside and outside city. An easy way that we can do is to do promotion personally and upload them on social media, not to damage tourist facilities. Maybe there is much more that can be done. In addition, it is possible that in the future the city of Palembang can be included in the rankings by having higher tourism potential. Okay, all. This discussion has ended. I hope you watch this podcast can get and learn the information. Thank you for watching our podcast, and thanks to Dini, Cindy, and Emmy
Yes.
who have taken the time to come this podcast. Okay? See you next time.
Thank you.